And that means that these guys would have gotten away with the injustices that they were perpetrating in this case, which I know very well how they operate, is to ensure that the punishment that doesn't even exist, because according to those who have done the research, there is no crime known as criminal libel in Ekiti law books, I mean Ekiti state law books, but yet they're carrying out that illegality. You will find out that either the magistrate will not appear in court, or if he appears, he will deny him bail and continue to perpetually hold Dele in detention, which I describe as ransom. Well, thank you everyone for coming. This is quite an impressive number of Nigerians who are here today to remind the authorities in Nigeria that, and also Dele, that he's not alone. We were expecting Tope Timokun, who was the last lawyer of his, to see him in detention, to come in here today and discuss some of the personal conversations they had regarding this case. But since he's not here, I will just go straight to the points and where we are with regards to this case. You are all aware that it's not just the judiciary and Chief Afe Babalola and the aides that dealt this. It was actually a collusion between these three very powerful organizations or institutions and individuals. This Chief Afe Babalola and a bunch of lawyers in his law firm, the Nigeria Police Inspector General, and that's Kayode Egbetokun, was the one who mobilized policemen from Ekiti, from the former SARS unit known as RRS now in most formations across Nigeria, to go after Dele. And they were in Lagos for almost a week, sharing intelligence of his location. And Dele was aware of this and actually did a press conference. Then they abducted him, rough-handled his staff, stole some of their phones, and then drove him for about 8 hours from Lagos to Ekiti. We tracked him down there, and then the next day they took him to a magistrate court, who Tope was the first lawyer, that's Temokun, to appear before that magistrate. And typically, for those of you who are carpenters like myself, not lawyers, when you appear before a magistrate, is a court that has summary jurisdiction on a number of issues. One is that since it's a bailable offense, that the magistrate should have granted a bail right there after an oral application was made. Not because it is Dele, but it's because Dele is also a lawyer who, if he was kissing up to the Nigerian system, would have become a senior advocate of Nigeria by now. Dele has been practicing law for 25 years in Nigeria, but he abandoned the system a few years ago, of course, partly because of the reasons that he wrote his book. So the magistrate had been set up, the police prosecution, they all said, no, you can't apply orally for bail. Go and put in your bail application. A bail application was put in, and I think it was supposed to be heard on December 10th. Then we decided that there would be a global protest against this. But because they were aware that this could snowball out of control, they took him to court on December 9th to a federal high court, charged with new sets of offenses. This time, they charged him with cybercrime offenses, which also being a crime that could lead to a jail time of more than 3 years, wasn't bailable. But interestingly, the federal high court, upon realizing that there may be problem because of the action that we had declared, granted Dele bail, even though the bail conditions were outrageous, as you all are aware now. That's going to provide a 50 million surety bond, also to provide somebody with a landed property in Ekiti, and he's supposed to deposit his passport. But yet, it wasn't a problem. So the next day, before of course, this could happen, there had been a meeting between Peter Obi and Afe Babalola, and that's completely made us, in our movement, which is Take It Back movement, to decide that since there was a meeting and this appeared to be something they were trying to resolve amongst themselves, we did step down action that ought to have taken place, because that was the expectation of the whole country, that since there has been a meeting, what could we decide, consider a reproach or like some kind of reconciliation, since they know themselves. There was no point engaging in protest. So I'm explaining that as to the reason why this protest was stepped down. But we still, regardless, sent a delegation of our members to court, and a lot of lawyers appeared, including media. When they arrived court, Shiva Babalola has mobilized thugs down to the court, coordinated by plainclothes policemen, and surrounded the court, threatened and even harassed some of our people, including lawyers that came to represent Dele in that. That was what transpired on December 10th. But the magistrate then, upon opposition by the police prosecutor, decided that they will not grant bail on that day because he wants to now rule on the bail. So he adjourned till 20th of December. That's this Friday. So now our suspicion is that if there's no pressure, if there's no fresh pressure, and not just pressure, that if we are not clear to these people that Nigerians are going to revolt over this matter, they will not still grant Dele bail on Friday. And that means Dele will not be for Christmas. And that means that these guys would have gotten away with the injustices that they were perpetrating in this case, which I know very well how they operate, is to ensure that the punishment that doesn't even exist, because according to those who have done the research, there is no crime known as criminal libel in Ekiti law books, Ekiti state law books, but yet they're carrying out that illegality. You will find out that either the magistrate will not appear in court, or if he appears, he will deny him bail and continue to perpetually hold Dele in detention, which I describe as ransom. And we must, as a matter of urgency, figure out how to resist this and ensure that these people don't get away with this crime. This is my own submission as regards what has happened so far. A lot of people have been visiting Dele. We send somebody to see him in detention every other day. He's fine. He's in high spirit. His wife was there yesterday to see him. I spoke to her, briefly, and they're doing. He says Dele is doing well in there, but that's not the issue. Where we are now is that all of us have become Dele Farotimi, and as I have stated recently, the Nigerian judiciary has become our new SARS in what they are doing in the judiciary. And Nigerians must let them know, just like we did to the Nigerian police during NSAS, that we are not going to give up until justice is done. And I want to also advise that this should not end here, because it's possible that Dele, out of fear, they might release Dele on Friday. I'm not saying they will do it, but it's possible. And we should not allow what happens to Nigerians and the short memories we have about egregious crimes committed against our humanity to take over again. We must pursue what we are doing. That's why Dr. Malcolm decided that we should call everybody here on this coalition to ensure that we continue to pursue justice, not just for Dele, but to ensure that justice is delivered to the Nigerian justice system appropriately and in the measure that would break the back of corruption and all the shenanigans that is going on out there in the justice system. So that's my submission, Malcolm. Thank you very much, everyone, once again, for coming.